I think it's time for us to go right. Hi, I am Peter Boykin, a constitutionalist for liberty. As a proud Republican and strong supporter of Donald Trump, I echo a vital message I hope you will hear. The essence of conservatism lies in defending our nation, safeguarding our constitutional rights, and preserving the principles of limited government. My call comes with urgency, as I today and every day urge my fellow Republicans to embrace diversity, uphold the values of the Constitution, and unite under the banner of liberty. Today I have to deliver the hard-to-swallow, based, very bitter red pill of truths that so many refuse to handle. Call this a rant if you wish, but it comes from the shock of seeing that the RNC, the GOP, is practically broke with only $11 million cash on hand. That might sound like a lot, a fortune to many, and to me. But for one of our two major parties in our political system, that should come as an alarm and a question. Is the GOP in its 11th hour? Let's go over some facts. Our party keeps losing membership and refuses to grow. Instead, they do a great job, including in North Carolina, of making our local GOP clubs too cliquish and exclusive, thus rejecting any diversity. And you wonder why so many people run to be unaffiliated, especially in North Carolina. This is only one reason why our party is essentially broke. This is what happens when you have a party that rejected the people who support Donald Trump, rejected the moderate, the reach across the table for the sake of our citizens and getting things done that are, quote, art of the deal Donald Trump offered to our GOP. A lifeline. There's nobody else, no other friend to call. And they definitely aren't playing 50-50 of our nation. So let's make a deal. But right now we're losing that deal. We're a party that let the Democrats get away with a corrupted election in 2020. Years of COVID BS and censorship, and let Joe Biden go for years before they went after his corruption that everyone knows about. Even though in 4 years, they impeached Donald Trump twice. He was acquitted twice. We could not even impeach Joe Biden once. And we start messing with him during the last minute of the election year? Then to make it worse, the members of our party spent all of 2023, since 2020, going full steam backwards on social issues because everybody wants to be a social conservative. They bitched about beer cans and transsexuals and the reigniting of the hatred for equality for the LGBT community and generalizing whole groups of people. I don't like being called a demon, and I'm sure a lot of other people do not like to be called a demon and called out their names, and this whole spread of rhino this and rhino that. People are tired of it, and they wonder why people are leaving the GOP. Thus, forsaking the core values of our Constitution, a party that lets, once again, as warned by many including Barry Goldwater, that letting the evangelical far-right wingers spread theocracy instead of democracy, our republic, would be the death of the Republican Party. We now live in a world where too many Republicans have ignored our need for limited government, for less government intrusion, but instead agrees with the Democrats that we should allow Congress and the President the right to throw out our First Amendment rights by banning apps like TikTok because, quote, the Chinese own some of it, yet ignore how the Chinese have their hands in everything. Yet Congress is so technologically ignorant, they don't even understand the implications of letting the power to end platforms get in the power of the wheelhouse of the government and how dangerous that is to our First Amendment and to our constitutional rights in the wrong hands. Meanwhile, we have political prisoners from J6 rot in jail and are tortured daily, and more are getting arrested every day here in 2024. Then while Hunter Biden doesn't attend his hearing, who should be found by the FBI and dragged in, you have Peter Navarro thrown in jail for refusing to testify. Oh, and for the ones that do end up testifying in a lot of whistleblowing cases, they end up suicided. Again, our government is willing to throw their own citizens in jail for protesting a corrupt election.
Those mob fools want you gone so they can get back to the way things were. But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things.
Even if quite a few protesters went too far, and they did, they certainly don't get the same treatment that protesters on the left, such as those that took over Seattle, did, or Antifa, who set fire to the streets of D.C. and other cities, broke windows and destroyed cars and hurt and murdered people, and BLM, who did all of that and more. And they got away with a tap on the shoulder, a slap on the wrist. No one went after their leaders. There's no BLM committees. There's no Antifa committees. But let's go over the right-wingers because, oh my God, one day things got a little crazy. Meanwhile, this same corruption is allowing illegal aliens to pour through our borders, child trafficking, drug trafficking, crime, criminals, and terrorists into our country. But China, China on TikTok, oh my God, that's such a worry. While they're rolling out the red carpet, putting them up in fancy hotels, giving them luxurious food, brand new PlayStations, video games, and Visa cards with money on it, our J6 political prisoners, many of which are veterans, rot in jail, and over a third of our nation's homeless are veterans. That's putting America first, right? On top of that, our former and should-be current President Donald Trump is being dragged into court by court by court by court with every law book they got thrown at him, while the corrupt legal or illegal system ignores the laws. The laws of the books, the laws of the land. They just wing it and lets corrupt protesters do what they want. All to get rid of Donald Trump's wealth and his sanity. And they have tapped and tapped and tapped away. You know what? Maybe the left's protesters are correct. There is no justice if there is no peace. No justice, no peace. All of this is going on while conservatives, quote conservatives, don't even know what, quote, conservative means anymore. And they are more than willing to elect in primaries and general elections any slick politicians who are great at manipulating those that don't know what the hell is really going on. Ones that will put out the meaningless sound bites and the ones the things that the average Republican voters want to hear. The good things. The care-me-nots. Not the hard things that you really need to hear. But for a party that claims to not like the establishment, to reject the swamp, to want things like term limits, and the list goes on, they do. They do. And they fall for anyone quite the opposite. The hypocrisy. Why do you vote for people who are exactly against what you want? I've ran, a few times now? I don't know if I'll ever get elected. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not a quote politician. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm active on social media. I'm all over social media. I exercise my First Amendment of speech. And I know it pisses a lot of people off. And do I care? No. Because I'm trying to defend and conserve our rights, our way of life. That makes me more conservative than most of y'all. I myself I'm a registered Republican, and I am a constitutionalist for liberty. And I know what I stand for, and I can defend what I stand for. I am a free, independent thinker, and for that, I can be an outcast. I can live with that. But it will not stop me from fighting for our future and what's right. And if I have to throw a few political hand grenades for people to wake up, I will. So all this talk of, quote, go woke, go broke, how has this helped the GOP donations? Why are they broke? Well, one thing, our economy is shit. They haven't tried to fix it. They haven't put America and Americans first. And instead, it's one whole blame game between the left and the right. And when that doesn't work in the Republican Party, we spend the rest of the time working a rumor mill, becoming Karens and attacking on one another. I mean, people didn't like our chairman. People don't like our senator. You confront people. Why? They don't have an answer. Because somewhere down the line, they've been told that somebody you don't like, or they're a rhino, or some other lame excuse. But they don't even know why they're against somebody. But that's just politics being politics, right?
Well, that's all right then.
That's just politics being politics, right?
Well, that's all right then.
That's just politics being politics, right?
Oh, well, that's all right then.
Now, I said it earlier. I saw all to the same quote on Twitter. That's where I got it from. And this is what I said, and the other person said the same thing. I don't even feel like the United States has a government anymore. It's just a criminal organization looting taxpayers for trillions, greenlighting an illegal alien invasion, and acting as accomplices to foreign subversion by the communist Chinese. So I ask my fellow Americans, when are we going to be open-minded about things? When are we going to start solving issues? And there's a lot of issues. There's things I hadn't even touched on. When are we going to be like our founders and sit at a table with our different ideas and views and more and work things out? When? America will fail. Our great experiment will fail if we do not learn to compromise and give in to moderation as our guide. Now, I'll leave you with a few quotes. A nation divided against itself cannot stand. Sam Houston said that right before. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Abraham Lincoln said this many times. Those that fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Winston Churchill. The person who agrees with you 80% of the time is a friend and an ally, not a 20% traitor. Ronald Reagan. You should really be taking that to heart. We have these Lincoln-Reagan dinners all the time. And it's time for us to come together as one united people. Donald Trump. In a landscape fraught with division and discord, I asked for other constitutionalists for liberty, like myself, to stand as a beacon of unwavering principle. Put your foot down and your commitment to constitutional conservatism. That's conservatism. Defend your unwavering support for liberty. And hear my impassioned plea for unity as we navigate the turbulent waters of contemporary politics. Heed my words and remember the timeless wisdom of our forefathers for embracing moderation, fostering inclusivity, and honoring our constitutional heritage. We safeguard the future of our great nation. And I end with my personal declaration. Go right, think right, do right, and then you will be right. God bless you. I hope you share my words and take heed, because I absolutely do not want the answer of our GOP in its 11th hour to be an answer of yes, not even maybe. I want it to be a resounding no, but it's up to you.